People say that since wrestling is fake, winning a championship doesn't mean anything. This is the completely wrong way of looking at it though. Winning a title shows that a company believes in a wrestler and trusts that person to represent them. Wrestlers usually have to spend years training and competing before they win their first championship, and for some, they never win a single title in their entire career. That's why it's insulting to see championships disrespected, like what Hulk Hogan did. In 1993, Hulk Hogan returned to WWE just in time for WrestleMania. The Hulkster then allegedly used his influence backstage to challenge the WWE champion Yokozuna at the end of the show. In less than 30 seconds, the Hulkster beat Yoko and became a 5-time WWE champion. While you might disagree with Hulk Hogan using his authority to win the WWE title, you would at least expect him to be a valiant champion who would hold the title proudly, but that's not the case. Shortly after winning the WWE Championship, Hogan went to another wrestling company called New Japan Pro Wrestling. Then, during an interview, he said this.
The WWF title is just a stepping stone. I want the IWG belt in it.
That was a little disrespectful, but then the reigning and defending WWE champion destroyed his own title by saying this.
This belt is just a toy. It's like a trinket on a Christmas tree, like an ornament. The belt that I want is the one that the great Muta has, the IWGP belt.
You wouldn't think Rob Van Dam would ever disrespect a championship, but you would be wrong. In 2006, RVD defeated John Cena to win the WWE title. Just 2 days later, Van Dam was awarded the ECW championship as well, and then said this.
This is the ECW World Championship, and I will wear it proudly. And look at this one, it spins.
Ironically, less than a year later, it would be the ECW championship that would get disrespected, and in a much worse way. After the famous Battle of the Billionaires match at WrestleMania 23, Vince McMahon continued feuding with the ECW champion, Bobby Lashley. This led to a 3-on-1 handicap match at Backlash 2007, where Lashley fought against Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon, and Umaga. Not only were the odds not in Lashley's favor, but his ECW World Championship was on the line too. In one of WWE's most infamous moments, Vince McMahon pinned Bobby Lashley and won the ECW title. It's bad enough seeing a non-wrestler win any championship, but it was even more disrespectful considering it was the ECW title. Men took years off their lives to win this championship, and now here is Vince McMahon holding the title, do-rag and all.
Imagine the glory that Vince felt watching that organization die, and then reviving it in his own image, trying to erase all of our extreme memories and replace them with his vision. And now, there he is, wearing the ECW Heavyweight Championship. A day of victory for Vince McMahon, and truly a day of loss for the spirit of the original ECW.
What made it even worse was that McMahon was the one in charge and decided to put the title on himself. While Hornswoggle and David Arquette did win championships too, they were just doing what they were told. Throwing salt into the wound, Vince McMahon held the ECW championship for 5 weeks before finally losing it. Not long after winning the WWE championship in 1996, Shawn Michaels would infamously pose for the adult magazine Playgirl. It wouldn't be so bad, but the Heartbreak Kid decided to use the WWE World title to cover up his showstopper. Perhaps it was on brand for Michaels at the time, but it wasn't treating the WWE Championship with the prestige and respect that the title deserved. Since then, other wrestlers have recreated the infamous pose. While it was disrespectful, they at least didn't do it with a World Championship. Now in this next clip, do you think the champion was in the right or the wrong? At WrestleMania 34, Roman Reigns challenged the Universal Champion Brock Lesnar in the main event. The first big issue was that fans had already watched 10 matches before Reigns and Lesnar locked up. 13 if you count the 3 pre-show matches. Because of this, the fans were tired and not excited to see a match they had already watched 3 years earlier. On top of that, this was at the height of fans' hate for Roman Reigns. Because of all this, the fans chanted boring and this is awful. The match went down as one of the worst WrestleMania main events of all time, and Brock was frustrated about that. After retaining the Universal Championship, Lesnar went backstage and did this.
Look at the rage on the face, in the eyes of Reigns. Yes!
If you didn't see it, Brock Lesnar threw his championship at his boss, Vince McMahon. WWE's Women's Championship has probably been the most disrespected title in wrestling history. One such incident was when a man won the title. In 2000, wrestling manager Harvey Whippleman called himself Harvina and fought the women's champion, The Cat, in a Lumberjill Snow Bunny match. Whippleman became the only man in WWE history to win a women's championship. Thankfully, Harvey Whippleman's title reign was short-lived when he was defeated by Jacqueline. WWE would sort of recreate this moment 9 years later, when Santina Marella, under the name Santina Marella, won the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. However, this isn't the only time a WWE Women's title has been treated like trash. In 1993, a woman named Alundra Blaze debuted in WWE and quickly became the top star of the women's division. However, due to financial difficulties, Alundra was fired from WWE about 2 years after she joined. It was so abrupt that Blaze was still holding the women's championship when she got released from her contract. WWE's competitor, WCW, saw an opportunity and signed Alundra Blaze to their roster. She made a surprise appearance with the women's championship on WCW's flagship show Nitro and did this.
This is the WWF Women's Championship belt.
That indeed it is.
And that's what I think of the WWF Women's Championship belt.
This stunt caused Alundra Blaze to get banned from WWE for almost 20 years. That might seem harsh, but Alundra honestly kind of deserved it. Before she got signed by WWE, Blaze was living in her car and owed $80,000 to the IRS. When the WWE owner, Vince McMahon, signed Alundra Blaze, he asked if there's anything he could do for her. Alundra jokingly asked him to pay off her debt. McMahon actually did it and sent Blaze a check for $80,000. Then, when Vince's company is already facing financial difficulties, this is how Alundra Blaze repays him. Now I will admit, this next one is a bit funny, but still disrespectful. At Money in the Bank 2011, WWE Champion John Cena defended the title against CM Punk. Fans were really hyped to see this match, and Punk and Cena delivered. The fight ended with Punk winning the world title in front of his hometown crowd. Since he was in Chicago, the new WWE Champion decided to go back to his house, where he put the championship in his refrigerator. How do you know it's CM Punk's fridge? There's Pepsi on the bottom shelf. Now this was pretty ballsy. In 1994, the National Wrestling Alliance, NWA, held a tournament to crown a new champion. The NWA Championship was, and still is, one of the most prestigious titles in wrestling history, so this was a big deal. A company called Eastern Championship Wrestling offered to host the tournament, and the NWA agreed, which was a big mistake. In the final round, former WWE wrestler Shane Douglas won the match and the NWA Championship, and was giving a heartfelt speech. Until...
From the Harley Races to the Barry Windhams to the Ric Flairs.
And they can all kiss my ass because I am not the man who accepts a torch to be handed down to me from an organization that died, R.I.P., 7 years ago.
Not only did Douglas trash the NWA Championship, but the entire NWA brand as well. Eastern Championship Wrestling parted ways from the NWA and became the ECW we all know and love. In March 2017, Paige was the victim of a hack that caused private photos and videos to be shared online. One of the most infamous images was that of Paige and former Raw general manager Brad Maddox. To make matters worse, the images showed the two doing the nasty on top of the NXT Women's Championship, a title Paige held from 2013 to 2014. That was already disgraceful, but it caused more outrage due to Paige taking pictures of children holding the championship. Shortly after, WWE announced they'd be unveiling redesigned NXT championships, which included the women's title. It's unknown if this is in response to the leaked images or not. Female wrestlers have sometimes gotten inappropriately touched by fans. To see that, watch this video.